What's up, everyone? Welcome to day one of the Toyota GR Supra GT Cup Asia India. I'm Shades there. Joining me is SK, please. SK, what's up, man? How's your day going?
Man, it's race weekend. I'm excited. I want to see some Supras, just visit out Nürburgring, and I'm waiting to see what kind of competition we have in store, considering, this is the first time this is happening in India. So I want to see the kind of talent there is and what they have to offer. So I'm really excited. What about you, Shed?
I'm super hyped, man. Being a racing fanatic like you for lots and lots of years, I'm super hyped that I finally get this opportunity thanks to Toyota India, who have brought the Supra Cup for the first time to the country this year. Last year, we had about 28,000 racers all across Asia battle it out to find out who is the best Toyota Supra driver out there. And this year we get a chance here to go ahead and battle out the best in Asia, SK. That's a huge privilege for some of the drivers who are going to be racing with us.
Yeah, it is a massive opportunity. I mean, considering the sheer amount of entries that we were talking about just before the start of this tournament, it is gonna be crazy. Just to kind of put that into perspective, that only three of them will be, taking part or
Yep.
will be representing India in the final amongst the five countries, which I think you said were India, Malaysia, Singapore, I think it was Thailand, and
And
last one was Indonesia.
Philippines. So,
Philippines, yes.
so just to give a backdrop to the viewers tuning in, the first leg of the tournament is in fact, the second leg is the Asian Nations Cup, where we have the five countries who are going to be battling it out. Top three from India qualify to that stage, and we have an All India qualifier, which is going to be broken down into three rounds. Let's have a look at what they're going to be like. We in fact did have a couple of races already happen last weekend. That is on the 5th and 6th of September. We're going to be having a few more races happen, two today and two tomorrow, and the top two positions from each of these races will move on to the semi-finals round robin, which will happen on the 18th, 19th and the 20th. Top 10 racers from that stage move on to play the All India finals on the 26th of September. Let's have a look at what the players are going to be battling it out for. As not just pride and glory, SK. There's a lot of money on the line as well.
Oh, there's a lot of money. I mean, just looking at the sheer price pool, it's 2,25,000, and then it's broken into first place, which is a lakh, second place 75,000, and third place 50,000. But being a bit of an e-racing player myself, I think it's way more to do with the pride also, because just the pride of winning and being the best Supra racer there, that is gonna count for a lot as well. So you know
Yep.
big ups to everyone. Good luck to all the participants, and let's see how the races go.
And besides the prize money that is at stake, all 10 finalists will also receive Gazoo Racing merchandise. So there's a lot that these players are playing for. Let's have a look at the schedule for today. We're going to have two races, the first one starting in a few minutes' time. And we have another race that will be starting. It's actually at 7 o'clock, not at 7:30. So it's at 7 o'clock. So two amazing races lined up for you today. SK, what are your expectations from these races? What do you think is going to go down on the Nürburgring, which is going to be the circuits that are going to be played for all the four races this weekend?
All right, so I think it's more to do with qualifying. I think we can pick our favorites once the qualifying does happen. But for now, I mean, it is a pretty fast track, but it's also got a lot of sections that will catch newer players, off guard. So you got to be really careful. The curbs are obviously dangerous in GT, and the Supra as well. It is a brilliant car. It is also very powerful. So you need to be very nimble with the throttle. You need to, I think, put that level of concentration because there is a lot to play for. And the track, some of the corners, I want to see how these racers tackle. There are some corners in mind, but I want to see how this race, pans out for us. And I want to see how the newer players or experienced players, because I mean, obviously, once the qualifier happens, we are gonna have like our favorites, but like it is an exciting track.
Yeah, it is a very exciting track, and everybody is going to be racing on the Toyota Supra RZ20 car.
20,
Yeah,
yes.
so everybody is on the level playing field. It is a N400 car. I mean, Toyota, the Supra car itself has a very, very rich history, SK. I'm sure every racing fanatic out there has dreamt about racing in the Supra race car. And it's going to be interesting to see how these guys can maneuver around the circuit that is the Nürburgring GP with the car there, SK.
Yep. I mean, talking about Toyota, they are known to make some of the best cars, especially on the endurance front. Most of Toyota's focus is on endurance, is on reliability. So, Supra as well, a well polished car. And looking at it in his GT avatar now that we're going to be watching, I'm pretty excited. It is a powerful car, like I said, but it's also very slippery. And if you're not gonna keep your eye on your throttle and your braking, you are gonna find it a little difficult. So I want to see how these guys are able to control it, but also able to put fast times, because at the end of the day, you need to be in that top two position for you to be able to qualify towards the next week. So it's not just about the control; it's also about the speed. And let's see how it goes. Nürburgring again, exciting track. So I'm excited as well because it's 4 races, not just one, and we can see a whole lot of different drivers and a whole lot of different driving styles as well in these 2 days of the tournament.
Got it. Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about Toyota Gazoo Racing. So Gazoo Racing is, of course, the racing company of Toyota, and they primarily stand for endurance and versatility. These guys have gotten themselves, they are part of quite a few motorsport activities around the world, whether it is the World Endurance Championship, the World Rally Championship, Dakar, NASCAR, name it, they're pretty much everywhere. Yep. So it's going to be a huge privilege for these racers to be part of this prestigious event. They said there is a lot of money on the line, but I think it is the players are going to be playing for pride here. Above everything, they want to be one of the first few racers out there who get this huge opportunity to represent India at a global stage, SK.
Yeah, and just looking at the amount of players that take part, it also gives an opportunity to any budding e-racer, right, to interact with a lot of the people that are taking part in the tournament, as well as the Gazoo racing community, because it's not just the race or it's not just the India leg. The fact that you are getting exposure to all around the whole Asia Pacific Cup, it is going to put you it's going to push you to a level that you will improve. And at the same time, it's going to make you meet a lot of new friends. And that's what motorsporting is about. Once you meet these friends, you get to exchange, you get to learn. And I feel like overall, it's a win for anyone that's going to be taking part in any Gazoo racing tournament, because I've been watching the Supra Cup as well. And trust me, there are some super fast people, but let's see how the India leg goes. This is the first time, so I have my hopes pretty much up high as well, because we do have a lot of racers in our community as well, and this is their time to shine. And big shout out to Toyota Kirloskar as well, because they're the ones that caught it in India, and I hope to see the Indians as well in the overall podium once we qualify to the APAC stage.
Indeed, man. I believe we are actually ready to jump into the first race. We do have the practice session already live, so let's jump straight into the action there and check out what the racers are up to. So we're gonna have, so for viewers who are tuning in, we have about 20 minutes of practice session, which during which the timings that they clock in will be used as the qualifying times that will eventually decide the race orders starting. We're going to be having 4 racers in this race. We have Jensen Jose, we have Pranav 92, we have Rahul Mehta 48, and finally Fantastic Mash bringing it in. I believe let's jump on over to Jensen Jose and see what's he's up to, SK.
Oh yeah, so this is his first qualifying lap. There we go.
Yeah, I think he's just
100
still doing his. All racers just got out of the pit, so they're going to be all on their
just doing the
outlaps right
outlap.
now.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting circuit, a very challenging one. There are a few places that we want to keep our eyes on. I think the first thing that everybody is going to be glued to their screen is going to be that first corner at the race start.
Also, the corner that Jensen is on right now, the Vidal chicane, this is going to catch a lot of people off guard because you can see him hard on the brakes there, and then he has to exit out with a lot of power if he wants to, get into the start-finish straight. And this is, there we go, slides a little, almost hits the wall, but he saves it. But he does lose a lot of power there. And this is going to be his qualifying lap. So let's see how Jensen tackles this qualifying lap.
Yeah, coming out of that final corner is definitely going to hurt his straight line speed here. Going into his first lap, and it does a very good job though of that turn. I've seen a lot of racers, especially the intermediate racers, kind of go very late on the brakes there, and that turn is pretty unforgiving unless you're able to hit the apex right, especially at those high speeds, and you're gonna end up messing up your entire lap on turn 1 itself. But looks like Jose is not his first time out on the Nürburgring GP circuit. He seems at ease here, SK.
Yes, you see him tackle the arena well. He's joins up the circuit 2, and now tackling the Dunlop happen. So he knows what he's doing. Maybe he's losing out a lot of power, getting into the corners, but his exit speeds are pretty good as well. Let's see if he can. Goes a little wide there, but he kind of saves it. And now he is gonna move towards the Schumacher as flat out.
Yeah, this is where you want to build up the speed, right? This is a fast turn which leads up to the bends that are coming up. Once this bend is done, it is all about building up your speed for the fastest section of this circuit. We're coming across yet another 90 bend there, and then we're going to have this huge right-hand arch where you build the speed, go towards the max speed in this circuit before you get to that tricky chicane at the end. Let's see how he's able to fare at the end of this first lap, SK.
He braked a little early there, but he is going to tackle the Vidal chicane without any trouble, which means safe lap for him there, which is going to count now going into the last corner and off towards the start-finish straight. Let's check out Jensen's time here.
I think we're looking at a 22. 23. 23, low 23. I'm guessing it's just one of his first few laps where he is kind of getting used to the circuit as well. He wants to get comfortable, get a time on the board, and then I think now is when he's going to try and start to push that car to the max. You want to chip that timer down. We've actually seen racers last week bring in a 12 and a 13, which is a good 10 to 11 seconds faster than what Jensen Jose has managed to put out here in his first lap. So we're going to keep an eye on him to see how he's going to fare. Let's jump out over to Pranav, who seems to be on third position right now. He's slowly dropping back.
I think this is his proper lap because I did see him swerving around in the second, in his out lap as well. There we go. That's the best sector we've seen so far coming in from Pranav, but he's using almost every section of the track there.
Yeah.
And now let's see if he can tackle the Dunlop hairpin because that's why he's gonna probably gain or lose a lot of time. He seems comfortable. He's very smooth on the shifts. There we go. Goes on the out, uses a lot of curb, and he exits perfectly. And now towards the Schumacher S as well. He has got two best sectors. So let's see if we can finish this off because there's a lot more corners left, like you said, the bend's coming up ahead. He can mess up there as well. And of course the V-dodge chicane. That's where a lot of these guys I've noticed have either brake late or gone off. But he's doing a really good job here.
Yeah, just exiting these bends are super critical because coming out slightly slower is gonna mean you're not gonna be able to hit that arch as fast as you want and build up to that top speed. And especially in getting to the front of the grid, I believe is very crucial and is just the hundreds and 200s of a second that eventually might come down to whether you make it to the next race weekend or if your journey ends here. But Pranav has come out with a very good lap here. Looks like he might even take now. He does, and he's got the fastest lap in the circuit. SK, what a final sector there coming out from Pranav.
Yeah, pretty smooth all sectors across, and I think he is going to try and improve on it. It seems as though he was getting comfortable. Let's see if he can beat that. Right now it's Pranav in P1, and then we have Jensen in P2. However, Mehta and Fantastic Manish as well, they are still on their laps, even though Mehta is a little slower. He's almost a second slower. And yep, that's going to be a 2:24, which is going to keep Mehta in third place. And then we have Fantastic Manish as well. So yeah, it looks as though Pranav does have the edge right now, but it's only 500ths of a second, so it's not a lot at the moment. And he does have to put in a few more laps if he wants to keep that P1 qualifying position.
Indeed, man. Rahul Mehta, he was in second position for a small window of time. So I'm guessing, like you said, that was pretty much with Pranav in his first lap not making a couple of mistakes and losing a few seconds out. But the last one was blazing fast. And now I think the ball...
There we go. So Mehta did set the first, sector 1 fastest time. So he is getting a little comfortable now. Let's see if Mehta can put together a good lap this time around. Going into the Dunlop hairpin again. He's rocking this yellow Supra, bright color.
My absolute favorite color. So Rahul Mehta's already got one person cheering for him on the stream. So not as clean as Pranav or Jensen Jose there on that hairpin. Let's see how he's able to deal up with the S.
But he's sliding the car around, which shows you like a sign of comfort there, because the balance around this track for the Supra, you can slide it around a lot. Not this much, but then it is definitely a car that you can roll and get into corners really aggressive. That's what it gives you, that kind of confidence going into corners. He's still setting good sectors all around, but all comes down to this last corner here. If he does brake early, he is gonna lose a lot of time at the 100 board. Perfectly done. Is gonna come down to second, and yep, executed perfectly. Now it's all up to the last corner and down to the start finish straight. Let's see if Rahul Mehta can upset either Jensen or Pranav. He's a second off from his previous lap, but he makes a little bit of a mistake there. Almost hits the barrier. He's gonna use all of the track there to 20, and nope, not enough to take down Pranav. Just a hundredths of a second slower than Pranav there.
If he wasn't forced to readjust in that final end corner, I believe he would have had the fastest lap if that wasn't the case. So Sure, it's a slight disappointment for Rahul Mehta, but it is 20 minutes that they do have to wind this down. I believe we are very close to the halfway point of the practice session, which indeed is qualifying. So let's move on over to fantastic Manish. We haven't. Oh, the looks of damage on that car says 1,000 words, SK.
Yeah, I think Manish is having a little bit of a difficult time this weekend. You can see that rear end, especially on the right side, completely dented. Seems as though he did have a slight mishap earlier on, and he's hitting the curbs a little too much. A lot of the curb is going to throw you off, especially if you're throttling out as well. 9 seconds off for now. So it doesn't look like this is going to be a good lap, but hopefully he can recover from this.
Ooh. Again, forced to readjust.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, those are small little things that actually do eventually pile on to your lap time and add a significant amount of time on your overall lap. He's doing a fairly decent job of the chicane there, especially compared to a lot of amateurs. In fact, last weekend did see quite a few players who were actually racing. In fact, there were a couple of them who raced on Nürburgring for the first time on the race. So you can clearly see the kind of comfort that some of these racers who have raced on this track as compared to some of the newer ones. But I'm sure the four guys in the game today have put in quite a bit of time as he almost ends up pushing wide there. I think there's a big difference on how you tackle that corner. If you've seen the previous 3 guys, Rahul Mehta, Pranav and Jensen Joes, all 3 of them hit the apex perfectly at the inner turn, while Manish has been looking to go on the outside. One that is a much slower alternative to the first way of doing it, and secondly, there is barely any room for error. If you slingshot wide, that is the lap done right then and there, SK.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stay on the outer, use as much of the exit curb as you can. At the 100-meter board, you start braking and start downshifting, but you see what Fantastic Manish did. He kind of went towards the outside and he lost a lot of time while exiting, which is the other 3 racers aren't doing. And just as we say that, he goes wide onto Dunlop, and this is just going to lose him a lot of time. So Fantastic Manish now having the weekend that he'd want, but he's still got a lot of time to recover. I think he's still got 2 more laps to put in, and see if he's able to recover. Whilst we say that, Mehta is still in. Actually, yeah, Mehta is still in P1, Pranav in P2, and Jensen has actually dropped all the way to P3. So we do have Mehta kind of clutching in with a 2:21. So he did beat Pranav last time around. He was just a hundredths of a second, but now he's almost 2 seconds over Pranav, which is going to put him in a comfort spot, considering that if he's lapping 2 seconds faster than Pranav in the qualifying, he is going to have a big confidence boost going into the race as well, because this kind of cements him as the fastest amongst the 4 people that are here.
Yeah, and considering you start on pole, especially at that first turn where it is pretty accident prone, I'd say, just having that advantage right off the bat, if you're able to stay up front after that first corner, you're just gonna be able to continue to put in fast lap after fast lap and pull away from the rest of the field. And if positions 2, 3, 4 are contesting it, they're not gonna be able to keep up with the pole setters pace in that race. And it is a 8-lap race this time around in the qualifying, and in fact throughout the rest of the tournament as well. So if you do manage to get out on top at the first corner and you're able to start building a distance, it's going to be very hard for the rest of the competition to catch up in the remaining laps, SK.
Yeah, Raul Mehta right now is looking very confident. You can see him; he's smooth as ever, using almost every inch of the track. And I feel like this is the man to beat because he is setting another fast sector. There we go, almost 400 a second faster than his previous lap time, but just goes a little wide, which means he's going to lose all that time that he just gained. But he is looking much more confident, is what I'm trying to say. He is pushing his car to the max, considering that he's already, put down a very good time. That's 2:21. Okay,
Yeah,
which means this lap is gone. There we go.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's got the fastest lap already. He's just gonna try and push that car to the absolute max for the remainder of the laps to see if he can improve on his PB. While I think now the ball is with Pranav now to try and catch up, make that time. Gets not the best of exits out of the chicane there, having to readjust the car as he loses control a little bit, and that is going to cost him time again.
Yeah, he kind of lifted the car off the chicane, which is something that you don't want to do. You want to keep it smooth there, but only 700ths of a second. He's still, trying to recover the time he lost. But seems as though Raul Mehta is just, almost 2 seconds off. And Jensen, if we can take a look at Jensen, what is Jensen doing? Because I don't see him. There he is. He is trying to again set a fast segment. This is the best sector for him so far.
Having to brake there as well mid-turn, that slight readjust at the end will cost him slight bit of time thanks to his speed out of the corner being far lesser.
And I feel like he's losing a lot of time in the hairpin as well. If you look at him, he's kind of struggling on the entry. And just as he exits, you can see he's sliding all over the place, which is something you don't want to see. But he's kind of nailed the Schumacher. Almost there. He pushed it a little too far. But some of the sections, I feel like Jensen's much more smoother than the rest of the pack. But for now, he is trying to get that time down. He is trying to go for P2 at least, because P1 and P2 in that first corner, it is going to be a battle, and Jensen wants to be a part of it, but he's just not able to get the laps or get the corners going in. Meanwhile, Raul Mehta, the current P1, 2:21.014, that is the fastest lap for this qualifying.
We only have another minute to go in qualifying, so this is pretty much going to be the final laps. Looks like Pranav, I don't think will have the time to make it through the entire lap before we have the start, and that pretty much means Jensen Jose, who we did watch earlier, will be starting second row on the grid. It's going to be a tall order for him to claw his way back if he wants to take this race here, SK.
Yeah, and it all comes down to the first corner as well, right? If they can get a good start and Rahul can kind of push away from the pack, I think that's going to keep him in a bit of a safety net. But it is pretty tense coming into the first corner, because qualifying is one, but getting into the race as well, there's a lot of nerves that goes in, and we saw all of them make mistakes in their qualifying runs. So I'm hoping that they don't replicate it in the race, because that is going to cost them a lot of time, but also a shot at going towards the next week. So yeah,
all right, there we go.
It's going to come down to the race.
Yeah, and with that, we are done with the practice session, as Rahul Mehta will be starting on pole, SK. That is going to be something we want to keep our eyes on. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Let's in fact jump straight on down to the race start here. Waiting for the lights to go off for the start of race number 6 here of the Toyota GR Supra GT Cup Asia India, and it's a go. It's a good start here for Rahul Mehta as Pranav tries to make his way on the inside. He's going to dive on the outside and try and make a move at the first turn, but he does not have the speed coming in. He might make some contact here. He's going to dive on the inside, forces Mehta to hit that brakes, and looks like he might get the lead, but Rahul Mehta has the inside for the second turn, and he's going to be able to retake back the lead here, moving into arena. Pranav, absolutely wonderful attempt, but not good enough, SK.
Yeah, that was a brilliant start coming in from the side of Rahul. I mean, defensive on the first corner, but then Pranav tried, and as we went to the second corner, it was a left-hander, which means Rahul had the inside, and he closed, he pretty much shut down Pranav there, and I feel like this is going to be a dogfight at the start, but Rahul Mehta already pulling 2 seconds away from Pranav just in the first few corners of the race, which is clear dominance here. Pranav had his shot, and now he has to make a lot of good moves if he wants to catch Rahul Mehta again. And at the back, we see fantastic Manish and Jensen as well having their own battle. Manish just kind of stepped up in this race, I feel.
Yeah, that was the arena phase where he managed to easily overtake Jensen there, but Jensen looks like he's not giving up with a fight, coming very close to Manish on the turn, but having to ease off the gas there towards the end, else they would have definitely made contact. But I think it was hats off to Rahul Mehta, not really panicking at that point, especially at that first turn where Pranav takes the inside line. He is more than happy to break up and wait for his opportunity, because he knows as long as he stays on the outside line, he's got the inner line for the second turn coming up. In fact, let's quickly have a look back at the start of that race there towards that first turn. Pranav actually made contact there, but Rahul Mehta manages to swing wide, holds the line down towards the second turn, and he retakes back the lead. That was a wonderful move there, and might just be the difference between winning and coming second here in race number 6 SK.
There was also a dangerous move because they could have taken both of them out there. Pranav very aggressive, but it was a good move, it's a good attempt, and now he has almost 3.5 seconds or 3.4 seconds to catch up. So Pranav has a lot of catching up to do if he wants to take P1, and I'm hoping he does, because this is going to put Rahul in an uncomfortable situation, knowing that any mistake that he makes, Pranav is going to catch up, and you can see how comfortable they are going into the race. I feel like they're just doing much better of a job going into this race. And right now, the fastest lap, that was lap number 1, is Rahul with 2:23. Let's see if he can build on that, because 2:21 was the fastest lap that he did set during his qualifying. So it is going to be Rahul and Pranav all the way to the end, considering the fact that Pranav's already got about 5 seconds onto fantastic Manish, and Manish is kind of holding his own against Jensen there at the back. Third and fourth is going to be a different battle, but the leader, Rahul Mehta, pulling away almost 0.05 of a second a lap. We're into lap 2 of the Nürburgring. Let's see if he can, hold it down without making any mistakes.
Right now, this battle that we see for third position between fantastic Manish and a nice move on the inside. Jensen Joes threads the needle there on the turn. Beautifully done. But like I was saying, this fight for third place is a good 6.7 seconds behind Pranav, which is the second qualifying spot from this race into the round robin. So regardless of who comes out on top of this fight, I believe both of them now have to hope that Pranav makes a mistake, because if he doesn't, I don't think Jensen Joes has quite got the pace on him to cut that many seconds off the leading pack here, SK. But as we say that, Rahul Mehta's also come out far ahead. He's got a pretty decent lead. There's a couple of seconds at least on Pranav, and he's starting to pull away.
Yeah, and that is the fastest lap of the race. There we go, the 2:21, almost 500ths of a second slower, but from his qualifying time. But he is going to start hitting those 2:21s, and you will see him start moving away, almost 500ths of a second. Like I said, every lap from Pranav, 6 seconds, close to 6 seconds from Pranav, and then Pranav is also going to be moving away from Jensen, which is again another 6 seconds. So I feel like Rahul's in a very comfortable situation right now, but it's also up to Pranav or Jensen to capitalize on any mistakes that's being made. So there's a lot of laps remaining. They're just in lap number 3 of 8, which means, you got to have that mental focus. You still have a lot more laps to finish, and hopefully nobody makes a mistake. But Jensen is flying. He's caught up almost 5 months of a second this lap itself, which means, it almost like Fantastic Money did hold him back all this while, and Jensen on the unleash now. He just wants to catch up. He wants the podium. He wants to qualify. Let's see if he can get his rightful place, or is because as of now it does look like it's going to be Rahul and Pranav.
Yeah, it is pretty much Rahul and Pranav who do have a significant lead over the rest of the pack here right now, as Rahul Mehta,
he just looks comfortable. He just looks smooth going, exiting the Schumacher, and look at him. He's just on another level here, and Pranav will be feeling confident as well, like you said, because it's the top two that goes qualifies. But he is losing, or he's trying to gain, but it's not a lot. If you look at Rahul Mehta, he's almost 7.5 seconds now in the lead. So it's going to be a tall ask for Pranav to even come back into this, unless, like I said, Rahul does make a mistake.
I mean, it is decision time for Pranav. Because right now he is in second place, which is a qualifying spot into the round robins. He needs to make a decision here whether he wants to try and cut the gap to Rahul Mehta, push as much as he can, and in turn end up.
Oh, he get a penalty because he did cut the Vidal chicane there. I was just going to bring that up, but that is the in-game penalty that he gets, is slowing down, which means Jetson,
he's caught up.
He's definitely caught up. He's got the gap, the 4.8 seconds now because of that 0.2 second slowdown. You could see them both in the start-finish straight, which means Jensen is also, he's fighting for this spot. And Rahul, meanwhile, just comfortably pulling away 8.6 seconds now. He is just having a race of his own. Clear air in front of him, good weather, and, there's not much you can ask for if you were Rahul Mehta.
Yeah, and fantastic Manish right now. I think his goal is going to be to get to that checkered flag right now. Try and put in fast lap and hope the front runners end up making a few mistakes that allows him to catch up, because 26 seconds behind already, just halfway through the race. In fact, we're not yet at that halfway point. Is a pretty big deficit for him to cover up. Pranav seems like he is losing, like you said, 0.5 of a second almost every lap to Rahul Mehta. So I think he's made that decision right now to just have a clean drive and ensure that he takes the checkered flag in second position and secures his qualifying spot in that round robin next weekend.
And look at Jensen, though. Jensen's catching up as well. Even though it's a hundredths of a second, Jensen's definitely catching up, which means Pranav is going to start feeling the pressure. And I hope, he doesn't make a few more mistakes. And just as we said, Jensen losing it there, goes off the track. Lucky for him, he doesn't get a time penalty, which means he's going to continue his chase towards Pranav. But he lost out almost a second because of that, a little bit of mistake. And like I said, it's a lot to do with the mental as well, because you need to, lock down, and you just need to kind of get these laps, fast lap times. And that's the only person that's doing that right now is Rahul Mehta in the lead. He is comfortably pulling away from the rest of the pack.
Indeed, man. Jensen trying to push as much as he can there, ends up getting onto the grass. Did cost him a precious second or two. It's just pressure, man, right now. You're running out of laps. You're gonna have to make this happen right now. Ensure you're close enough and give yourself an opportunity when you're going down lap 7, lap 8, down the straight, to make that overtaking maneuver into turn one, but it's not going to be the case, at least for this lap, as Pranav does have a decent bit of lead here, SK.
Oh yeah, he needs to catch up a lot, maybe 4 seconds, and if he's close to about 500ths of a second and he's in the slipstream, he can capitalize on the start-finish stretch and dive bomb him on the inside. But for now, he's a little too far. But for some reason, Jensen looks much faster than Pranav, because even though he went off the track there, he did gain a whole second onto Pranav, and it feels as though Jensen has a solid shot, considering there's still 4 more laps remaining in this race. This is lap 5 of 8 in the first round of the Nürburgring. Brilliant race from Rahul, and I can't really comment on it because he is just pulling away every single lap, almost a second now every single lap, and he is very, very comfortably put himself in that P1 position. But Pranav and Jensen, these are the 2 guys to watch right now, because Pranav's making a lot of mistakes, Jensen also is making a lot of mistakes, and it's either one's race. Just looking at Pranav now going into one of the bends, he looks very fast. He looks faster than his qualifying. He looks much comfortable as well, and now going flat out, he's gonna exit on to the Advent Arch and into Vidal. Let's see if he can hit that chicane perfectly, because last time around we did see he picked up a 0.2 second penalty there, and that's a slowdown penalty because he did cut the track, and he's at... Alright, he's gonna hit the arch now. Flat out, look at that Supra. It looks brilliant coming out of that, out of the arch there. And now at Vidal, has no trouble, exits out, looking smooth. Jensen, however, very aggressive onto those curbs there. He's caught up a lot of time. Look at Jensen's time there. He's just got about 3.5 seconds now. He caught up a second and a half this lap. So Jensen is flying in lap number 5.
I think it's just a question of pushing that car to the absolute max here for the next 3 laps. I think just the way they attack that end corner there at the end kind of shows how it's a safe approach from Pranav. Jensen's basically using every single centimeter of the track there to try and make it happen. Does swing a little wide there on the first turn though. Let's see if that has ended up costing him any time. In fact, 1/100th of a second slower than Pranav there, I believe, on that first sector. But Jensen Joes, that sector 3 is where we've seen him pull out all stops. That is where he's making up the time. The question is 3 laps gonna be enough time for him to catch up and make that overtaking move, SK?
Yeah, this 3 laps going to be enough for Pranav not to make these slight mistakes. He's going off wide, they're losing a lot of power, and Pranav has to be careful here. And just as you said, Rahul Mehta again, he is just flying, man. 221 constant lap times up ahead, 15 seconds ahead of the pack. He is like super fast. But at the same time, let's keep an eye out on Jensen, because we are getting out of sector 2 and going into sector 3, which is where Jensen's kind of, he's basically flying. Sector 2 as well, he looks pretty fast, and you can see that he can literally look at Pranav in his every straight that he's entering, he can look at Pranav, which means he knows that there is a closing, there is a chance, and he's just trying to push that car to the max. There we go, at the bends, maximum power. You can see that Supra sliding because he is pushing that car to the max. 3.3 seconds now, the gap going into lap number 6. Flat out onto Adwin, now into Vidal, and this is where I think he gains a lot of time, because Pranav, after the penalty, is a little slow on this section. But look at Jensen, he just curbs it out, lifts the car, and he just full sends it across that. And you can see the time gap there, almost 500th of a second just from Vidal alone.
Can he make it though, is the question. It is gonna be very, very close. He's making up the time, but he's not doing it fast enough. Looks like he is going to decide not to use the slipstream. He instead pulls up wide very early, SK. That's an interesting
He's too far. He's too far at the moment.
Yeah.
He needs to be a little more closer if he wants to gain on the slipstream. Right? But as we say that, Pranav, you can see him struggling there. He's sliding all over the place, and Jensen's just capitalizing every single time that Pranav does slide. I feel like Sector 1 and 2, Pranav's got him, but Sector 3, Jensen's catching up a lot of time, which is 500 or 600 of a second. Where you don't want to see that if you are Pranav, because every time you look in the rearview mirror, you see a silver Supra that's catching you, and that is Jensen. And look at this. In Sector 1, Pranav does kind of extend the gap, but the moment he hits Sector 3, he's just going to lose a lot of time.
Indeed.
And whilst we say that as well, Mehta, 17 seconds now, almost 18 seconds off. Look at him. He's just making that Supra look, he's just making it look easy. And he's sliding all the place, using all the power, all the grip that the Supra offers. And he's just having a comfortable race up ahead in P1, the yellow Supra of Rahul Mehta.
Yeah, he is having an absolute baller of a time here, ASK. He's got no worries in the world. He's just cruising his way down. I think it's pretty much beyond doubt who is going to be taking this race. I think the action is going to be towards positions 2 and 3 only as of now, unless of course Rahul Mehta makes a huge mistake, which, looking at the way he's been driving so far, I don't expect that to happen in this race.
I don't think that's happening as well. There we go. 100 board, you stop braking, downshift into this, and this is where we've seen Jensen catch a lot of time, but he makes a huge mistake there. Is he gonna get a penalty for that? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah,
which kind of put him in an advantage situation there, because now he's caught up to Pranav, but the 3-second gap, 2 more laps remaining in this race.
Actually, it's the final lap coming down as they cross.
Oh, it is the
start
final
lap.
Okay.
It's the final lap. This is it. The gloves are off. He's gonna have to go for it right now. Third position is not gonna mean anything. He needs that second place, and he's gone. Oh no! That just as I call it, Jensen Joes tries to go for that extra half a second. He knew he was running out of track there to try and make this happen. He pushes the car, and with that, his chance of making it to the round robin as Rahul Mehta
21 seconds ahead of the pack. He is just, this is the guy to watch out for, I feel, because if he's pulling off such consistency, and he does get a fastest lap as well, which is 2:20, beats his previous lap time, and he's the one to watch going into the round robin. And Pranav is gonna breathe a bit of sigh of relief there, because he's just happy that Jensen went off in the first corner. I'm pretty sure he saw that in his rearview mirror, and he's just looking comfortable now. 7 seconds between him and Jensen, just a couple more corners left, and that's gonna be P1 Rahul Mehta and P2 Pranav if Pranav doesn't make a huge mistake here going into this. Brilliant show here from all 4 of the racers, and fantastic Manish as well. He's gonna try and finish the race. Even though he had a pretty good start, wasn't able to capitalize in the rest of the laps and wasn't able to push the Supra enough. But this is the guy we're watching, looking out for right now. Rahul Mehta in the yellow Supra as he comes down to the final.
That's final the end corner. Is gonna come out on top. He is your winner for race 6 here. Is gonna move the car around. Celebration time for Rahul Mehta. Almost running into the wall there, but hey, he completely deserved it, man. He drove out of his mind there and rightfully takes the checkered flag with the victory. Pranav, not the cleanest of races, but he did exactly what was needed. He managed to fend off Jensen Joes when he piled on the pressure there, lap after lap after lap. He was able to hold out and stick to his second position for a good 3 to 4 laps, eventually forcing Jensen Joes into a mistake. coming through the Weedle chicane there. Manish doesn't look all too comfortable, but hats off to him as well. He managed to make it to the checkered flag, and that is gonna mean Rahul Mehta and Pranav, your top two from race number 6, who will move on to the round robin SK.
Yeah, brilliant race coming in from both of them. Pranav is gonna be a little happy considering that Jensen wasn't able to close that gap in. But a big congratulations to Rahul with the yellow Supra. He is the winner of the first race. However, don't stick around. We do have another race coming in as well, and I'm excited to see now, because now we've seen a little bit of mixer racers here, but I'm stoked to see the next set of racers what they're able to do. But I feel like, yeah, this race, a few highlights was the start, brilliant start
Yep.
from both him and Rahul, and that little bit of contact, I felt like it was needed. It would definitely give a little bit excitement there going into corner, turn number 1. But Rahul defending it perfectly going into turn number 2, and then ever since that, you just saw the fact that Rahul just consistently put in good lap times, didn't make any mistakes, and he pulled away almost 20 seconds from Pranav. And the other battle that we almost saw for 5 laps was between Pranav and Jensen. However, Jensen just making that huge mistake on the final lap. He could have close that, even though 3 seconds is a pretty tall ask. I feel like the final lap added so much pressure to Pranav, and Jensen is in that position where all he has to do is push, and that is the best position to be in. And he just went wide there. So 2 highlights. And Manish as well, he tried his bit of racing early on, turn 3, turn 4, into the arena turn as well. But after that, it was just Jensen pulling away. But congratulations again to Rahul Mehta and Pranav for qualifying from round number 1.
Yeah, congratulations to both the races. Like you said, I think it pretty much came down to a couple of things in this race. First was, of course, as expected, turn number 1. Despite the contact, Rahul Mehta knew exactly the advantage he's going to have going into turn 2, and decides not to allow the contact and contest it any further. He just swings wide, takes the inside line. He knew he was going to have the speed and the racing line going into the arena turn, and from that point on, he just pulled away from the rest of the pack. Big props to Pranav. Massive pressure. He managed to hold off from Jensen Jose, who also put out an amazing race himself. Considering that over 4 laps, he cut down, what was it? I think a good 2 to 3 seconds off. He was, of course, it was some of amazing driving coming in from Jensen Jose, also coupled with a couple of mistakes there from Pranav, especially at the end corner, I believe, on one of the laps there where he slowed down quite a bit, allowing Jose to get close enough to put enough pressure, but not enough to secure that slot. A huge shout out to all the viewers who are tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. This is the Toyota GR Supra GT Cup Asia India. We're just getting started here. The first race is done. Congratulations to the winners who've qualified to the next round, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back again in about 30 to 40 minutes time with the second race. We will have more races taking to the stand to see who will move on to the next race. We can make it to that semi-final spot, put themselves in a position to represent India at the Asia finals. So don't go anywhere. I'm Shade Sayer. That is SK, please. We'll take a quick break. Lots more action coming your way. See you folks then. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Toyota GR Supra GT Cup Asia India. I'm Shaysay. Joining me is SK, please. SK, how are you doing, man?
I am doing good, considering the first race was very exciting. I want to see now the second race because, like I said, every time I watch like newer drivers tackle these tracks, it's just so much more of a it's like it's very, I don't know, it feels inspiring, sort of feels motivating. I want to get a PS5 myself now just to play some GT because I don't have a lot of GT experience. But I'm very excited again going into the round two of the Nürburgring again,
Yeah.
and I want to see if these guys can. I've already like noted down Rahul Mehta's time, which is a 2:20 that he did in the race. So I want to see where Rahul Mehta stands because he's the benchmark of the day right now with that brilliant race we saw in round number one. I want to see where he stands with respect to the 6 odd races that are going to be in round number two. But let's just jump into it, man. I mean, I want to see what qualifying times these guys can put up, and then we will see if Rahul has a fighting chance going into the round robin.
Indeed, man. Actually, let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into the action. We already have the practice session live. The best times from the session will be used for determining the starting grid for the race. We have 6 races this time around. We have Pro Speed Extreme. We have Raj Broken Mask. We have Azim Clark. We have Jasir Lass, Dheeraj Edge, and Krishna Salunke. 6 racers who are gonna be on the Toyota GR Supra RZ20, the N400 category car, an absolute beast of a car that's gonna be going through Nürburgring here today. Top 2 at the end of the race qualified through to the next weekend's races. Let's quickly jump on board. Pro Speed Extreme is where we will start. SK, take it away.
Yeah, I think he's on his outlap, if I'm not mistaken. Or is this the actual? I think he's on his outlap. Yeah, he's on his outlap. He's got the black Supra, my favorite color. Finally, you see 2 black Supras here, and on the outlap as well, you see the racing here going on between Raj and Jassi. But hey, guys, calm down. It's your outlap. Don't mess it up. But Pro Team Extreme, I think Pro X. Just as I say that, Raj Broken Mask there.
We talked about
the
Vidal chicane so much in the previous race, and we get to see how punishing that corner is right there. Raj Broken Mask is struggling here for grip at that end corner as well, SK.
Yeah, I think he's a little too hard on the accelerate. We saw him go into Vidal and he braked really late, almost at the 50 board. You need to start braking at the 100 board when you hit Vidal. And we saw him go off the track there. But this time around, very early on the brakes, he is going to lose a lot of speed. But yep, there we go. He's a little too early and then he lets go of the throttle. But it looks as though Jassi and Pro Speed are pretty faster on these sections. But now Pro Speed again, a lot of drifting in this lobby, if I say so myself, because everyone's drifting these Supras around, enjoying the amount of power that the car gives in. But I didn't expect them to go this crazy in qualifying, because I mean I expected them to have a little more space between them. But it seems as though Jassi's the only one that's kind of gotten in a comfortable situation with respect to the car. Let me remind you guys again that the last time we saw qualifying Rahul Mehta in qualifying set a 221, but in the race he did have a fastest lap of 220. So that is the time to beat for today. And let's see if either Jassi, Pro Speed, Azim, Broken Mask, Dheeraj, or Krishna Salunke can beat Rahul Mehta's time. And then let me remind you again that the top 2 from this race do move on to the round robin. What do you thought, Shay? Just looking at the outlaps and their first qualifying laps, I don't know. Personally, I feel like Jassi's got it under control. Yeah, but I haven't seen most of them drive yet. So,
looking at the way Jassi's attacked these corners, I think he's got his racing line spot on. He's attacked them the absolute best, using every bit of the curb there as well on the bend coming into the Vidal chicane here. Sitting at about 155. This is the tricky part. We saw last time around, a huge slip up from Broken Mask in this turn, but he's done that as best as you could have. Accelerating out onto the end bend, he's gonna have full throttle coming through. This has all the makings of a 22 at least, and yeah, 22-2. That's a very competitive first lap out, SK.
Yep, 2 minute 22. Brilliant lap from Jussi. He seems very smooth around the corners. Just a second off of Rahul's time, which was from the previous round. But then again, I see a lot of racing between these guys. There we go. We see Pro Speed just going wide there. It's a qualifying lap. You can ease it out. You can, create some space between the drivers, and I think that's what Krishna is doing at the back as well, which is just kind of put in some space so that he can tackle these. Azim is drifting, which is gonna lose him a lot of time there, but gets onto the exit there, and now he is gonna move.
I think we've got to see quite a bit of smoke coming off the tires there as well,
Yeah.
jamming in, locking those wheels up on the turn. Like you said, it does cost a lot of speed if you're doing it, especially in a fast turn. But Zim Clark, let's see if he can redeem this lap back out. Again, no need to race at the moment. Your objective here is going to be to ensure you put a decent bit of distance between yourself and the racer ahead, to ensure that you can push to the absolute max without having to compromise on getting too close to the racer up front. And at least
and this is what happens when you brake late as well. You see what Pro Speed did. He braked really late, which kind of meant that, as we say that, we see Azim Clark going off the track here as we're spectating Dheeraj. Dheeraj is trying to put in his lap as well, 135 now, going into sector number 3. He looks pretty fast.
He has the fastest lap, by the way, of the first laps. He was in fact faster than Jassi. So
2 minute 19. He's faster than Rahul from the first race as well by about 300ths of a second. So Dheeraj quietly sneaking into P1, and Jassi now is going to try and string together the last few laps. And this is where we see Dheeraj. You see that he got a lot of time, uses almost every section of the track, and Dheeraj knows what he's doing. Pretty late on the brakes there. He's going to perfectly execute it, and let's see if he can beat his previous time. Uses every bit of curb there exiting, but it's going to be a 222, a slower lap compared to his fastest lap, but he still holds on to P1 from Jassi Lassi. And Azim Clark Pro Speed still yet to put in a fast time because of the crashes that are happening to them in the last few laps.
I'm kind of surprised, especially with Dheeraj's lap the last time around, because entering into sector 2, he was already 2.2 seconds behind his previous sector time. So I'm guessing there was something went horribly wrong there in the first sector.
He did slow down. Yeah, he did slow down when Azim went off the track in front of him.
Right.
I guess that's what the problem there was. But now we see Jassi, man. He is pushing this car. He doesn't want to be in. He doesn't look like someone that wants to be in P2.
Yeah, he's pretty far off though at the moment. He's gonna have to make up quite a bit of time if he is to get close and eventually overtake Dheeraj, who's right now having the fastest lap.
Fastest lap of the day, pretty much.
You pretty much taking that turn at the center of the road instead of using the apex. That is going to cost him a few tenths of a second there on that turn alone. Maybe needs to dial it up a little bit and use the racing line a little bit more strictly if he is to make up every little bit of time he can to catch up to Dheeraj SK.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks as though Jassi is putting in a faster lap than before. He's got 2 best sectors, and if he's able to tackle Vidal perfectly, I think this might be a pretty solid lap. Perfectly braking there at the 100 mark. He's gonna hit Vidal almost did see like all the tires go off, but then I guess he didn't get a penalty there. Let's see, 10 more seconds remaining. Still pretty fast, 16, 17. It's gonna be close.
Yeah, this is gonna be
it's
tight.
gonna be 8 to 21. Not enough to topple Dheeraj's P1. Let's take a look at the rest of the pack though.
I mean, Azim, it's time for redemption for this guy. He's gonna hit a 22. That is not gonna push him up the board. He's gonna continue to stay at P3 at the moment. He did go off track.
This section here, I
Yeah.
feel like Azim's losing a lot of time in turn 1 because he kind of doesn't go from the outside and hit. He just tries to break in the middle of the track, and I feel like he's losing a lot of time there. And also around Arena, I saw him slip. Last time around, he went off at Arena. So let's see if he's able to hit Arena this time around. Yep, again, it's a lot of slippery, slidey stuff coming in from Azim, which does lose you time, considering, it's going to take you a while to get back. And he's shifting as well. If you keep an eye out, or if you listen to his shifting, he's shifting pretty early or pretty late in some of the corners.
Yeah, that and all of that added up is going to eventually cost him a lot of speed, translating into a lot of time going down as well. And unless he's going to be able to cut down on a couple of these mistakes, catching up to 3 seconds in total is going to be very hard for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And here's Pro Speed, who's been having a difficult couple of laps here. He spun off twice already, or he went off the track twice already, and just as I say that, he's almost gonna go off track, but holds together towards, and now he's gonna move towards Schumacher. He's gonna slow down a bit and flat out now. He's losing a lot of time there as well. I think in the midsection, sector 2 is where Pro Speed's having a lot of difficult time, and he's not able to kind of corner, optimally. But his gear shifting is much better than Azim, for sure.
But I do feel he's a lot slower in some of these corners. I think it's pretty much down to him playing a little bit on the more cautious side than pushing for it and overshooting the turn itself, and that has cost him quite a bit. He's about 11 seconds behind the leader, so
yeah, that is just he's very slow. He's very cautious around most of these corners, which you would want to take flat out. And look at his approach going into the last bend as well. He kind of went in close, which is gonna give him a wide exit, but he's losing a lot of speed in the midsection of that the end corner. And
yeah, that's
26. That's almost that's 5 seconds off 5 seconds off the leader, and he's got a lot of catching up to do.
Going back down towards the bottom of the trainer, is just cutting the corner altogether there.
He's just like, I don't want to do I'll do the V and I'll remove the doll. Like, I'm out. Like, I just don't want to do it. But Krishna seems to be struggling for grip. And you can see a lot of damage on his car as well. So he's spun off and hit something in the initial few laps of his qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, it is, though these race drivers are right now, we have 6 of them on the track, a good few seconds separating each one of them, but it is just down to very small moves at the end that do make up all the difference in the world. These guys are still at the end of the day racing at very high speeds, and at that kind of an area, the mistakes that cost you are very, very small margins, SK, very small margins.
And if you take a look at your left side of the screen, Dheeraj actually beating his previous personal best 2:18. That's a scorcher of a lap the last time around. So it looks as though Dheeraj is the one to watch now. He is just improving time and again onto his previous laps, and 2:18 is very fast, considering that he's 2 seconds faster than Rahul, who was our previous winner. So if Rahul's watching, he might wanna put in some more laps. And if he does meet Dheeraj in Nürburgring, he knows he's gonna be slower.
Yeah, he did slip around a couple of the turns there, especially towards the end corner at the end. Did cost him a good half a second, if not more. But still, he is leading the pack by far right now, SK. 2:18 is something we didn't get to see even in the previous race. It's a good 2 seconds faster than the fastest lap from the winner from the previous time around, and he's gonna pick up a penalty here. So Dheeraj looks like
I think he's pushing. Yeah, he's pushing way too fast. Like he's already kind of gotten his lead, right? So he's got his good lap. So I guess he's just trying to push and see if he can get, if he can go faster than that. And I think Jussi is done as well. But he's gonna secure P2.
Yep, and just as we say that, we're approaching 5 more minutes remaining here for the end of qualifying. So they have to push as fast as they can. Every single position matters here. Only the top 2 at the end of the race move on to the next round. Right now, P1 and P2 being held by Dheeraj as well as Jussi, who've been by far the 2 best racers on track so far. In fact, we do have Jussi pulling up a couple of seconds behind Dheeraj as well, but the kind of pace that Dheeraj is setting, I don't see Jussi's laps getting impeded, at least till the qualifying ends, SK.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I feel like Dheeraj is comfortably gonna secure P1, but it's up to Jussi. I mean, in the race, it's again, and Jussi seems to have lost his way.
Yeah, well, now he's for sure got a lot of distance, but I don't think he has enough time to come around another lap here before race start. It's gonna be tricky for him. I think he's gonna eventually have to accept the fact that he's only gonna be starting second on the grid. But staying on track with Dheeraj here, he's got a scorcher of a lap. We have Extreme, who's still out 2 minutes in, yet to approach the Vidal chicane. This is going to be a very slow lap coming in from Extreme. Looks like Krishna as well as Raj have got their own small little fight going on at the back, as going in for a small feeler of how the race is going to be.
Hey, Krishna there, drifting away. I mean, at this point, I feel like Krishna has just lost a lot of control in his car and just going into corners. He's too fast, which is also a bad thing if you are racing one of these cars, because you do have to maintain that, the perfect balance of power as well as your braking. And Krishna is losing it on some of these corners because he's going in too fast.
Indeed.
And look at on Vidal, he's very safe. And just so he said, the Pro Speed Extreme goes off the track, and this is gonna be is it 25 minutes or is it 20 minutes?
It's 20 minutes.
Okay, so that means they are pretty much done with their qualifying laps, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I think they have just a few seconds remaining before we get started with the race itself. 6 racers. Dheeraj is gonna continue to hang on to the lead. Jussi on second, and as we see in the far side,
God.
this turn's gonna be. I'm sure the first turn at race start is gonna be very interesting. In fact, I'm getting a message from the stewards. In fact, it's 2 more minutes remaining for the qualifying to finish. So we do have an opportunity for some of these racers at least to finish the lap, but it's not going to be a fast one from Krishna. He's slipping and sliding all over the place. That first turn is going to be something we're going to keep our eye out on for race start. I think of all the race starts we've had so far, the one that happened in the previous race. Race 6 was the cleanest we have seen. That is, despite there being contact. So that's quite a lot. Quite a lot to say. It's been eventful to say the least, especially in that first turn where some players, you want to push that edge, try and get that small advantage, try and force the overtake at that first turn. In fact, Dheeraj is slowed down quite a bit there at the first turn, and the timer is counting down. SK predictions before we jump into the race.
I think it's easy to pick Dheeraj here because of the fact that he's almost 2 seconds, almost 3 seconds faster, than anyone else on the track. And it's going to be up to Jussi as well. He's had a smooth qualifying, but it all comes down to this start. It all comes down to the first corner, and the rest of the pack as well. If someone breaks late, there's going to be a lot of contact going into corner number 1. Take it away, Shit.
And we're waiting for the lights to go off. Dheeraj starting on pole. Jussi close second. As the lights go out, the start of race number 7. Dheeraj gets off to a hot start. Jussi, the water start. He's just going to pull up level head there at turn 1. And he does have the racing line. He should be able to hit the apex meta. We see Raj going for slipping and sliding. Dheeraj wants to go for the contest. He's going to be forced out. And Jussi does have the line. Dheeraj, is it going to cost him a position? No, it doesn't. Krishna is so far behind their SK, so it's not eventually gonna matter much as Jussi manages to take the lead on turn 1. Dheeraj, lap after lap, by far the fastest racer during practice, and in one turn it gets turned on his heels, but he's already looking down the outside here. He wants to try and make this move, but Jussi, he always tries to squeeze a bit, but Jussi shuts the door down there, moves to the inside line. He's not gonna attempt towards the outside just yet. It is a decently long race. It is 8 laps, and Dheeraj does not want to do anything right now to jeopardize that position, but looks like he wants to continue to stay on the attack here. He is not gonna look to move off the racing line just yet. He feels probably that he isn't close enough to make that move just yet, but they managed to safely make their way through the hairpin. They're going to be coming up against the 2 bends here, having to significantly slow down. I think Dheeraj right now is just going to bide time till he hits that fast swinging right arch. I think that is where he's going to try and pick up speed and try and go for that overtaking maneuver all the way down towards that Weedall chicane SK.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's coming up right now. You can see Dheeraj just 200ths of a second closing the gap in the slipstream. Is gonna catch, but Jussi with a brilliant defense there. But both of them are gonna go wide towards Weedall. Let's see if the dive bomb comes in, and that's exactly what Dheeraj's gonna do. Dive bombs him into Weedall, and Jussi has nothing to say about it. It's gonna go off, which is gonna give Dheeraj a possible penalty, but surprisingly he doesn't. And that's gonna leave Jussi a little surprise, and as we say, the Jussi on the inside towards the end corner.
Oh, and look at Azim Clark! He's coming in as
God.
well. It's a 3-man fight to the front of the race here, but right now Dheeraj does take provisional lead here.
Wide.
How is this racing line going to go? It's going to come down to Azim if he can break in time, else it's going to be troublesome, and Dheeraj overshoots the turn there. Jussi is able to hold the line down. Oh, quick contact there between the cars. Contact back again, but Jussi holds the racing line down. He's able to keep the lead, but now Dheeraj's got to worry about Azim. He's got him hot back on his heels here. He's tapping at the rear. He knows this is his opportunity here to quite possibly cause one of the biggest upsets so far, and Dheeraj is under a lot of pressure at the moment, SK.
Yeah, whilst all this is happening, Azim's actually catching up, because I feel like Jussi is slowing down Dheeraj, and the battle up front has kind of caught the attention of Azim, and guess what? He is just nailing all these corners perfectly and catching up to the front of the pack, even though the little bit of contact that he did get in arena kind of pushed him back a little. But I feel that this battle up front is gonna be very beneficial for Azim as well, because if any mistake does happen, like the way we saw at Weedall where both of them went off track, maybe Azim can capitalize onto this and possibly pick up P1, because he's looking in a good position. And just as we say that, Jussi here constantly brilliant defense coming in from this man, and Dheeraj just all out on the attack, 300ths of a second, which means he is gonna go for another attempt after the bend right now. He is gonna hit the advance arch, full speed ahead, get the slipstream, and is he gonna dive bomb is the real question, because the last time he dive bombed, he did go off, and he is
Just
pushing like
about.
a madman right now.
Just about manages to stay away from the gravel. As soon as one of the tires touch the gravel, that is pretty much curtains. He's going to go on the inside, and just he's going to have to give up. Perfect time there. He finds an opening and he goes down, but Jassi's got a beautiful exit out of the chicane there, and I think he might just be able to hold the turn. He goes in wonderful there at the end corner, and he holds on, retakes back the lead. But Dheeraj, he's not backing away. He's gonna stand right up next to him, and he's actually faster down the straight. Jassi drops the ball, and Dheeraj picks the lead back again.
Oh, Jassi with that late break. It's gonna be contact, and no, Dheeraj is gonna get hit, punted off towards the side, but surprisingly, Dheeraj maintaining that control there, slides off, but doesn't really cost him a lot of time. He's gonna be a little disappointed with that, because that was a clear punt that came in from the side of Jassi, and now Jassi again getting the lead back. Is gonna try and hold on to it, but Dheeraj says, no, I'm gonna play aggressive now. This has gotten dirty. I want to try and get this position back, because he's clearly faster on some of these sectors. But Jassi, with his defense and the perfect bit of offense there, and the slipstreaming as well, right, is just on par. And as we say that, Jassi does go wide, but he still has the inside line, which means Dheeraj has to battle it out on the outside. Hits a bit of gravel. Jassi's going to maintain speed. And Azim, you can see him at the back. He is hoping that these guys make a mistake, because he wants to capitalize on this.
Yeah, he wants them to go at each other. If they take each other out, and it is gonna be Azim who stands to benefit from this. He's doing his absolute best, just trying to keep the pressure on Dheeraj, force Dheeraj into an unforced error here. But at least for now, Dheeraj's doing a fantastic job. There's a couple of times that he's actually swung wide, and despite touching the gravel, has done a fantastic job of being able to hang on to the car, and he's going to shoot wide yet again, but he holds on to second position.
Oh, Dheeraj is making a lot of mistakes, and look at Azim now. He's just 200ths of a second coming into this section. The fastest section gets the slipstream. Is he going to dive bomb Dheeraj at the end of Vidal? That is the real question here. Azim's got the speed, he's got the slipstream, he's got 200ths of a second to catch up, and we see him. He's going to take a little peek, but he's not going to attempt it, and Dheeraj flying off. They are making a lot of mistakes. Dheeraj goes wide. Jassi loses a lot of speed exiting Vidal, and Azim also trying to capitalize on this.
That was a very big mistake there from Jassi. He gives up the inside line, and it did seem like Jassi was forced to readjust with the brakes there halfway through the turn, which gives an opening, and now he's under pressure from Azim, who wants to try and go down the inside line. They're going to go toe-to-toe. Will he break in the nick of time? Jassi will be able to come up ahead and take the racing line, and he does shoot wide. Azim continues to knock on the door, but he's on the outside line here coming into arena, and Jassi's going to be able to hold on. But look at what this has done to the fight. On top, it's given Dheeraj a bit of room to breathe, and he might just start to pull away if Jassi can't deal with Azim right here, right now.
Oh, they are pushing, man. And Azim gets a penalty there. He has to slow down. He's forced to slow down, in fact. But Dheeraj capitalizing on this little bit of battle that went on there whilst Jassi went wide in turn one. Dheeraj found a little bit of space, but he's also making some mistakes up ahead, because it seems as though Jassi's closed down that gap. And Azim as well, just 200ths of a second with a 0.9 second penalty, which is going to add up. So, oh, this is just brilliant stuff, and he punts Jassi off the track. Oh my lord, Azim, a bit too aggressive there. And Jassi is gonna be a little bit disappointed, and he might have something to say regarding that push, because clearly that was a very aggressive move. I don't know what Azim was thinking when he entered the Dunlop there. I'm not sure, but that does cost Jassi a place, and it moves Azim into P2. And Jussi has lost a lot of time. Meanwhile, Dheeraj has actually picked up two seconds in this lap whilst that battle was happening for P2.
Indeed, man. In fact, uh, this is quite a bit of distance now that Dheeraj has managed to pull up ahead. While that fight was going on between Azim and Jassi, Dheeraj has been putting his head down, going for those fast times, those times that he managed to put out during qualifying. That is what is going to give him that slight bit of cushion, and he's managed to get a good 2.5 seconds ahead of Azim, and unless he makes a crucial mistake, I think this is going to continue to be the trend where he's going to continue to keep increasing that lead. Question is, Azim, we know for a fact he is prone to making errors. We've seen him go off track at least once during practice. So there is a window for Jassi to catch up and maybe reclaim that second position if Azim ends up making a mistake or two here in this race, SK.
Yeah, because Azim is picking up a lot of penalties in the last 2 laps at least. And if he continues to do that, I think Jassi can catch up. But Dheeraj, he has just got the fastest lap. That was 2:19. So he's just pushing right now. But the rest of the pack, they are really far behind. 30 seconds almost between Jassi and Pro Speed, and then 4 seconds from Pro Speed to Krishna. And I don't even see Raj, because Raj has fallen way back there. So there's a different fight there, but the main...
He's a good minute behind, by the way,
he's a
from the
minute.
race leader. So yeah, these guys are relatively new. Props to them for actually coming down, taking part, and seeing how far they can push themselves here in the GR Supra Cup Asia India. But the fight is gonna be at the top 3. Jassi is about 9 seconds behind Azim. That's quite a bit of distance that Azim has managed to pull ahead, but I don't think he's got enough speed to catch up to Dheeraj, who continues to pretty much pick up a second lead every round, and he's up to 3.7 seconds here coming in towards the end of lap number 6. 2 more laps to go. Who's going to take it, SK?
I think it's clear, because it doesn't look like Dheeraj is making any mistakes. He is constantly putting out very good times, 2:19, 2:20s, and the consistency coming in from Dheeraj is clearly showing. But Azim as well, he's trying to push. He's trying to catch up, but Dheeraj is just so much more faster. I mean, the 2:18 now, he sets another scorcher of a lap there. Dheeraj, 2:18.796. That is just hundreds of his qualifying time. So this man is out here to win. He is pushing. He has got a clear lead there. 4.2 seconds now going into lap number 6. He just has to hold on for 2 more laps and he is going to be qualifying. But I feel like the real, the loser or the real problem here was for Jassi. That aggression did cost him. And, I'm pretty sure he has like a couple of words to say to Azim with that Dunlop incident that happened, but I felt as though he also gave that line and gave the space towards Azim, so it is going to cost him. It was a very exciting few laps that we saw early on, but it's very clear that right now Dheeraj and Azim are going to be P1 and P2, and they're the ones that are going to qualify in this round, unless like we always say, there's a huge error that comes in and Azim loses, because 5 seconds between Dheeraj and Azim and 9 seconds between Azim and Jassi, and the rest of the pack are almost like 30 seconds to a minute behind. So I'm going to put my money on Dheeraj and Azim, because I don't see Jassi catching up after that little bit of incident that happened at Dunlop.
Yeah, I think it's a case where if you're Azim, you've driven around this circuit many times. You've played this game a lot. You know the Nürburgring GP circuit, but it is doing it again at this stage. You've got 2 laps to go. You're at the brink of qualification into the round robin stage, and you pretty much get that huge applause of being one of the top 20 racers in the country in this game. So that's a lot of additional pressure that you got to deal with as well here for these final 2 laps. But it doesn't look like that pressure is getting to Dheeraj. He just continues to push the boundaries here. 6.5 seconds lead right now, coming down the stretch as he's gonna soon begin his final lap of the race, if I'm not mistaken. No, there's actually 2 more laps to go for Dheeraj and the rest of the pack. So Azim seems like he's also continuing to put quite a bit of time ahead. His lead is up to 7 seconds. In fact, 13 seconds by the looks of things, down to Jassi. Jassi seems to have pretty much taken the foot off the gas for a bit there, SK.
Yeah, it seems as though he's caught napping there because his times have drastically slowed down. I mean, his aggression in those first few laps was brilliant, but ever since that incident, he's completely slowed down now. And, there's 2 laps remaining, 13 seconds to catch up. There's no real Hail Mary play here, or there's no real time that he can, because Azim is very confident, like he's not making any mistakes now, and he's also pulling away. And then we have Dheeraj on the screen, who's just had a brilliant race.
That was an amazing race, and this lead seemed like almost impossible, especially in those first 2 laps. It was Jassi who was quite clearly holding on to his lead, manages to take the lead in the first turn, holds it towards the second turn as well, but Dheeraj did just enough of pressure there through those 2 laps. Eventually the end corner is where he finds the inside line into the start-finish straight, where he manages to not only take the lead but start punching in the fast time, start pulling away from the rest of the pack. And if things stay as they are here for the last lap, I do see Dheeraj and Azim comfortably move on to the round robin stage, SK.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said before, it's just good racing coming in, but we saw Azim there almost going sideways, loses control of the car, but he does manage to get it together. But final lap, Dheeraj is just going crazy. He's super ahead. They're almost 9 seconds off of Azim, and Azim is almost 13 seconds off of Jassi. So this is going to be P1, P2, the 2 qualifying members for round robin on the last lap of round 2 of Nürburgring. Brilliant show from Dheeraj. I mean, amazing racing coming in from Dheeraj and Jassi in those first few laps. And then, like I said, Azim was waiting. He was waiting, and he capitalized on the mistakes that Jassi made, because, of course, pushing that hard is exhausting. And that's exactly what Azim did. He waited for his chance, and then he took it. Unfortunately, there was a lot of contact between him and Jassi, and he kind of pushed Jassi wide. But it seems as though now he's looking very comfortable, and he is going to finish in P2. Just a few more corners left, sector 2. And we see our leader as well going into Schumacher now. Dheeraj, what a brilliant race.
Yeah, he's in fact just approaching the hairpin by the looks of things. Yeah, he's at the hairpin. He's pretty much starting. He should be coming up at sector 3 real soon. The fast part of the circuit. Only a few tricky corners remaining here for Dheeraj. The fast arch, we've seen players try and push the car to the max there. It's a very fast turn as you continue to build up towards top speed, and Dheeraj, I'm sure despite him being a seasoned racer, there's going to be some nerves going down towards that checkered flag. As of now, though, he looks pretty comfortable. 9.9 seconds. He managed to put 0.4 of a second lead over Azim in that first 2 sectors, coming in through the chicane down towards the final turn. Dheeraj, after a shaky start, he's pulled away, and by far the fastest racer on the circuit. In fact, would have almost lapped Raj broken. If he had another lap there, he takes the checkered flag. He is your champion. Comes in at first. Azim, a well-deserved second there. He was playing third leg for a large part of those first two laps. He pretty much let Jassi and Dheeraj duke it out. Jassi's going to be coming over. He's going to be disappointed with this finish. It did look like he might even win the race in those first two laps, but a couple of incidents there, a couple of moments where eventually he gets pushed down the grid. He's gonna finish up in fourth. Props to Krishna, Pro Speed, and Raj Broken as well for joining in here for.
They're still battling it out there.
Yeah, they're
still
fighting.
battling out, because if you look at Pro Speed, he's trying to attack Krishna, and he's got a chance because he's just 300ths of a second, and he's got the straight coming in. Let's see if Pro Speed puts a move. He's got the slipstream, goes on the outside, hits the arch at full speed. Can he get the dive bomb into V-Dollar? He's actually preferring to go on the outside. Krishna is going to break really late there. Pro Speed has the speed, and Krishna goes wide.
He goes off, and Pro Speed didn't even have to do anything. He had to just hold his cool there, and all that effort pays off as he pretty much forces Krishna to break late. I think just the pressure that he's probably gonna get dove on the inside there, and he holds it as late as he can and ends up just overshooting into fifth position. Comes Krishna. He's gonna be disappointed.
It ain't over till it's over. Brilliant racing at the back of the pack as well. Pro Speed gonna pick up fourth, and Krishna. And like I said, I mean, Jussie would feel disappointed because he had a brilliant race start. But unfortunately, there's few incidents, and I guess the aggression also has a price. And we saw him get pushed down to third. But amazing race coming in from everyone here. Action-packed compared to the first one, and broken mask there. He's gonna go for some gardening. He's just gonna fly off the track and reset back.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting on him to finish. This is the round 2 of the Nürburgring.
Round 2 for the day, of course. It is
round 2 for the day.
Yeah, overall round 1, race number 7 coming to an end. And with that, Dheeraj as well as Azim, congratulations on the win. They will continue on to the next round, which will be the next weekend. We will in fact be starting on Friday itself for next weekend. So congratulations to them on another win. Let's talk a little bit about the 2 races that we saw today, SK. The first one, a lot less amount of drama. I believe the most action we saw during that entire race was that first turn where we saw that contact between Pranav and Rahul Mehta. Mehta pretty much decides to go on the outside and hold on to his line, which gave him the inside line for the second turn up at Arena. Takes the lead, and that was pretty much all the action we saw. But the second race today was completely different.
Brilliant. What was this? The first 3 laps, I mean, just the start itself, right? I expected Dheeraj to get a better start, but then Dheeraj just completely got a very slow start, and Jussie capitalized on that, went on the inside, shut the door down, gets the lead. First 3 corners, he's already out. And we see Jussie, and we were like, okay, this is an upset because Jussie's pulling away. And then he makes a couple of mistakes where he goes wide, and then Dheeraj capitalizes. Whilst all this is happening, Azim's just third wheeling and just watching this whole dogfight happen. And he's just like, I'm going to wait for my chance. And then we saw in lap 5 where Dunlop, Jussie just went a little wide. Azim saw the opening and then took that. There was a bit of contact there, and he did push Jussie wide, but there was a lot of space, in my opinion, that Azim capitalized on. And ever since then, I felt like Jussie just kind of put himself on the back foot, and Azim and Dheeraj just stole the show away. I mean, Dheeraj, of course, 2:18.758. That was the fastest lap of the day, pretty much. He is almost 2 seconds off of Rahul, who was our previous winner. So yeah, Rahul, if you're watching, Dheeraj is someone to beat as well. So you need to improve almost 2 seconds, because this man consistently put 2:18, 2:19s in the race once he got the lead. And Azim as well. Clean drive from Azim. Not much you can ask for. He couldn't kind of close the lead because almost 10 seconds between him and Dheeraj. But the fact that he capitalized and qualified towards the next round, he's going to be very happy about it as well.
Indeed, man. I think it was a three-way fight since the start here in that second race. And like you said, it pretty much is how you plan your entire 8 laps. It's about endurance. It is not about getting ahead immediately at turns 1 and 2. You're gonna have to play the long game. If you're persistent enough, if you keep at it, you can eventually force an error out of your opponent, and that is exactly what Dheeraj did there. He played it patiently. There was a couple of times where he managed to take the lead, but was instead of trying to defend way too aggressively up against Jassi, was more than happy to surrender the lead for a corner or two, and eventually that end corner towards the end, I believe, of lap number 2 was where he eventually found that opportunity, after which he never looked back, takes the win. Congratulations to the players, the racers rather, who qualified from today into the second round robin for the next weekend. Congratulations to Rahul Mehta, Pranav, Dheeraj and Azim. Thank you so much for all the viewers who tuned in as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We will be back again tomorrow at 5 p.m. We've got 2 more exciting races lined up for you on stream, and after which we will be back again the weekend after for the round robins and the finals thereafter. So a lot of action lined up for you live here from the Toyota GR Supra GT Cup Asia India. I'm Shades there. That is SK. Please, we'll see you folks tomorrow at 5 p.m. Until then, goodbye, good night, enjoy the rest of the day, folks.